Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to a new episode of By Sophia. Today's subject is the golden cage. First of all, take a moment to check in with yourself. What do these words mean to you? A golden cage. Does something come up within you about these words? About this subject? Or is it complete blank? Do you feel a positive, a negative? Is there something in your body that starts to itch, hurt, cramp up, tense? Or maybe just by starting to listen this episode, your body gives you a release. Can be a yawn, burping, maybe your intestines that start to work. It also can be a cough, a laugh, a sneeze. Can be anything. Either way, don't attach to what happens. Don't go making stories around everything that's happening now. So take a deep breath. And release whatever came up when you took this breath. So, the golden cage. What is a golden cage to start with? It is a circumstance that holds you in the current situation you're in. For a lot of people, it can be a job that gives you certain advantages other jobs can't give you, or you believe can't give you. It can be a private situation, a living situation, a relationship. It can be anything that holds you in your place when your body, your system is actually giving you signs to let go of that circumstance. But your mind keeps you in it because your mind wants to keep you safe. And what is safe for your mind? The same circumstances where you're living at now. Because the mind knows what they are, even though it knows they're not spectacularly good, even bad in in some situations, but still it's familiar. And that's what your mind likes, familiar. Because when you come out of that familiar, out of that comfort, everything might change and is unknown. And your mind knows it might change for the better, but it's never certain of what it's going to get. It might get better, it might be different. Some things get better, some things get worse. And sometimes in the immediate future, it might feel like your circumstances changed for the worse instead of for the better. Because you need to readjust to what's happening. And it's not always comfortable, that readjustment process. For example, starting a new job where you will do the same work as your previous job. And you had nice colleagues, but the pay was really bad. And now you get a car and extra bonuses you didn't get before. And on your first day, everybody seems nice. So yeah, it could be that it's a good work environment also, but your mind still remembers those nice colleagues you had before, and the familiarity of the work you were doing. You're still doing the same work, but it's always a little bit different when you have to do it in another company. So you have to learn a few new things, and your mind doesn't like that because that's uncomfortable. So it might seem in the first place that even though the pay is better, you went to a worse situation, but when you give it time to adjust, it might just work a lot better than you thought in the first place. And why? Because you chose for you. You said, I'm worth more than this. And giving an example from my own experience, I have a few. I stayed in a relationship a long time ago because of the comfort we had. We had a house together. We had a son together. And the son we still have, of course. But my mind was like, are you going to throw all this away? You have a house, you have a career, you have a son. That's what you need to be successful in life. Even though I wasn't happy anymore in my relationship, my mind kept me in it for about 2 years, I think. So that was at that point a golden cage for me. I had things society sees as a successful life, a job, a house, a child, a partner, but I wasn't happy. And at some point I got out And it took me a while to readjust, because I had to go through different relationships after that to see that I was looking for my happiness outside myself and not within myself. So it was a big golden cage for me, where I had the key in my hand, and I didn't use it because I thought, oh, this cage is gold. Better a golden cage than no cage at all. It seems laughable now, and now, it is. But when you are in that situation, I understand it can be a really big challenge. First of all, to see you're in a cage, golden or otherwise, because in that moment you're not seeing it. You're playing mind games with yourself. But your core being always gives you signals that you're not in the right place. You're not free. So job-wise, an example from my life. Last year I was working in a place where I didn't like my colleagues, the behavior of my colleagues, and they didn't like my behavior, of course, because it's always a two-way street. So that wasn't a really fun place to be. And yet I kept telling myself, the flexibility this job gives me, I can't get it anywhere else, because I was doing that job part-time, because I want to focus on what I'm doing in my business, the podcast, helping people to discover who they are, why they are, and get rid of all beliefs, patterns that are holding them back to live who they truly are. But I thought the flexibility I have here, I can't get anywhere else. And so that was the story I kept telling myself. Not wanting to see, because actually I knew I was in a cage. I really felt tired and didn't get energy out of my job. It took all my energy. So I knew it somewhere deep down, but at the point it came more and more to my awareness. There came a point I said, okay, I know I'm holding on to this because I'm telling myself these stories, and it's easier to stay in this place than to go look for another job, to get to know other people and all those things. But if I just hold on a little longer, my self-employment will have grown enough. I don't have to do this anymore, and then there will be no need to search for something else. So that was the next story I was telling myself. Of course, that also did not work. And the end of October, I got an injury on my leg that kept me from going to work at all. So yeah, in that moment, I still didn't start looking for another job. I just used in the first place that time to gain my own energy back, because it really put me down, and I wasn't vibrating on my own frequency. I was vibrating on something else, on someone else's frequency. So yeah, in the first place, the first period I was at home, I used to recalibrate my vibration back to my own, not to someone or something else. And it did me really good. And suddenly I found the energy back to do what was necessary. And it was, first of all, put more energy into my business. And second of all, terminating that job and starting something else. So yeah, that was a bit of the process for me of getting out of that golden cage I put myself in, because we put ourselves into it. No one forces us to go stand in that golden cage. We ourselves, our minds, keep us in that cage, because we have beliefs, because we have patterns that have set into our lives that make it easy and comfortable to stay where we are. Or it's a workplace, or a social circumstance, or maybe a city or a country, or it can even be a memory we keep replaying. That also can be a golden cage. A memory we keep on playing. It can be a nice memory, but it can also be a bad one, because we experienced something that we didn't like, and every time we try something else, our mind tries to remind us from, what happened in that point where you tried this or that. So be careful when you do something. But that's a golden cage also. And in one point, when it's a nice memory, it's a golden cage. When it's a memory you don't like, it cannot feel even like she's gold, the cage, but the principle is the same. We're stuck in that circumstance, in that memory. So, most of the time when it's a negative memory or something we experience as negative, it's something we didn't work through. It's some sort of trauma we didn't work out. We keep on reliving it. We keep on holding on to it. We keep pushing it away. But the reality is, if we want something else, if we don't want to experience those same things, we need to work with what happened so we can move on from it. So we can grow out of it, heal from it. And when it's healed, it's fuel for your fire to live who you truly are, because then it can nourish you. But it's not always a fun thing to do. I know that, and it can be confronting, but you don't always have to relive it. There are so many options to heal those things without having to relive it every time over and over again. So whether it's a positive memory or a negative, or what we label as positive or negative, heal it. Because even the positive memory is something you're holding on to, because on one area or another, something around that memory isn't healed. And when your mind starts to tell you stories to keep you in the place you are now, to keep you in your golden cage, remember that at some point it might have been helpful that your mind did that. At some point it might have been helpful to take a step back out of a situation to gain a little bit of peace before looking back into it. But now, when your core being is giving you signals, when you feel you've grown out of that cage, it isn't helpful anymore that your mind is telling you all those things. So tell your mind, thank you for wanting to help me in the past, and even in this moment. Thank you, I appreciate it. But at this point, I can take care of myself to take the next best step. So thank you for sharing, for helping me, for sharing your opinion. But it is your opinion. And I feel deep down inside of me that your opinion is not the best choice for me at this moment. So I will be making this choice for myself. You don't need to make it for me. So stay as long as you need in this energy, so you can break out of your golden cage, break out or step out, because you don't need to break. You have the key, or the door actually already is open. You need the key. You don't need the key. You just have to step out. But stay as long as you need in the energy. But I will be saying for now, till next time, much love, Sophia.